Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me in my cozy little corner of the internet. If you guys don't know who I am, hi, I'm Ella. I am a booktuber who loves fantasy and historical fiction, but really any kind of book that has a good storyline. I'm just a bit of a bookworm. I will try everything, but my main genre is fantasy, particularly adult fantasy. Today's video, as you guys can see from the title, is just a bit of a conversation, a bit of a debate, I guess, with myself, because, you know, that's the nature of the internet. But I do encourage you guys to get involved in the comments below. I will try and be as on it as I can to responding to you guys as well. But really, I want to talk about the differences between reading on a Kindle and an actual physical book. Really, I just want to discuss which people think are better. And I know I may well be starting World War III with the comments over this one, but it's nice to hear people's opinions. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of talk through, I guess, the pros and cons, in my opinion, of each format of reading, and then at the end I will tell you guys my preferred method of reading books, and you guys can comment below your favourite methods as well. I'm going to start off with the Kindle because we're online, we're being digital. Let's start with the digital format. I've got the Kindle Paperweight with my little cover, which I absolutely love, and obviously it's pink because why wouldn't it be? We'll start with the pros because let's start on a positive. And obviously the biggest positive and obvious one for a Kindle is the fact that this can store thousands of books. It's great for if you're a commuter like I am, or if you are going on holiday, you can just store tons, and it's easy to then purchase books to put straight onto your Kindle as well. So if you're reading a series and you want to just buy the next one, you don't have to look for it in a bookstore or go to a bookstore. You can literally pop on your phone, buy it, and download it straight to your Kindle as long as you've got internet. It is lightweight as well, so it's not going to break your back when you are carrying it around. And if you're like me and you've got the backlit version, it also means you're not going to be straining your eyes trying to read at night. But it still looks very papery. Let me open one up and show you. Still looks quite paper-like. It's very backlit, so it's good for reading in bed. And it's also covert. So if you're trying to read maybe somewhere you shouldn't be, or somewhere you don't want someone seeing these massive big books, it's great for that. And most of the time as well, don't forget, buying on a Kindle is so much cheaper than buying the physical book. Especially if you're trying to buy hardback books, it makes it so much more affordable. And if you've got books on your Kindle, you can also use your Kindle app on your phone for the ultimate covert reading when you should not be reading a book at all. You can pretend you're on your phone because somehow that is more socially acceptable than reading a book. You can be on your phone. Now for the cons of this. First up, there's no book smell. I love the smell of a fresh book. When I'm flicking through and I turn that page and that smell just hits me, you don't get that with this. At the end of the day as well, you are still looking at a screen for a long period of time, which does tire my eyes out quicker, so I do have to wear my glasses a lot more when I'm using my Kindle. And it relies on battery, so there is always the risk of it running out of battery and not being able to continue your book. The layout of the books can sometimes be a little weird on Kindle, and I've noticed that I'm not always as fond of this text type on my Kindle, and it's not as easy to, I don't know, it doesn't feel the same curling up on the sofa with a Kindle as it does with a book, but that might just be me, might just be how I feel and what I've gotten used to. And at the end of the day, once I've finished my book, I don't have a physical trophy to put on my bookshelf, which is just heartbreaking because we all love a trophy of our read. We all love being able to display our books, I'm sure. So that does not offer that on a Kindle, and you do end up having to do what I sometimes do, which is buy a Kindle and physical copy. But now let's compare it to our physical book and see the pros and cons of using a physical book. So I've got to start with the most important part of a physical book, which is the smell. I just love the smell of a book, whether that's a new book or an old book. There is just something so magical about doing that and just hearing and smelling a new book. If you're like me and really bad and you like to skip ahead in books as well, it does make it a lot easier to do this than trying to flick on a Kindle. This is a lot easier for me to be really sneaky and read ahead when scenes get too awkward or I just am getting impatient. It's also very hard to accidentally skip 100 pages, which has happened multiple times on my Kindle. I can't, unless I'm sat like this, I'm not going to randomly skip 100 pages. I might skip a couple, but it's obvious and easy to fix. Not so much on a Kindle. And of course, it is a lot easier to display a book once I have finished reading it, which for me is a big thing. I like to see what I have or haven't read. And now comes the big reveal, which you have obviously all been waiting for, which is, what do I prefer? Count your guesses in the comments below. The answer is actually kind of a bit of a trick question. I like both. I think I'm more prone to a physical book than a Kindle when I can. So there is something to be said for reading the physical copy of a book. For example, I've read A Court of Silver Flames, which is the 5th installment of the ACOTAR series. I've read that on Kindle. I have not read it in paperback yet, and I've actually bought it. It's sat on my bookshelf ready to read as a paperback when I get a chance, because I do think there is a difference. There is, for me, a different physical feeling of reading a paperback book, which I do immensely prefer. What I will say with the Kindle is it's really useful when I'm wanting to read a series that I'm not 100% sure about or don't think I'll like too much. Buying it on a Kindle is often cheaper. And obviously with making it that much cheaper, it does mean I can afford a lot more books a month than buying the physical copies. Plus commuting, I commute so much that having a Kindle does make it so much better. I commute to work 6 days a week. It's 40 minutes each way on the train, so it is incredibly useful to have my Kindle. But when I want to read for pleasure at home, I definitely prefer reading a paperback. So I kind of lied, and I don't really have a favourite. They are both completely valid forms of reading books, and they both definitely have their place in the book community and the book world. And really, as always, these things, you know, the whole point of reading is stuff comes down to preference. My preference, if I can help it, is to have a physical, but I'm not against using a Kindle, and I go through phases with both. At the moment, with how much I'm reading, I'm tending to read more on my Kindle just because it's cheaper to buy the books, and I do like to have my own copies. But I do have a few physical paperbacks, and when I go charity shopping I do end up with a load of paperbacks as well, so it really does vary. And I hope you guys don't think I've clickbaited you too much with that, because there is no answer, there is no right answer to this question except for what you prefer. So if you haven't already told me down in the comments, do let me know. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope it's just been a bit of fun and just a chance for you guys to get to know me a little better and to understand what I prefer and my types of reading style, and just, yeah, just to get topics flowing, because I love a good debate. If you haven't already, do make sure though that you have turned on your notifications, because I've got some really exciting videos coming up for you guys in the next few weeks. So turn on the notifications, make sure you've subscribed, and if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so I know you like this kind of content. But until my next video, guys, thank you so much for watching as always, and until my next video, guys, as always, happy reading!